Did you and Mr. Alexander have a sexual relationship?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And when did that sexual relationship begin?
Well, we had been dating for a long time, and we were in love, and so that is something that happened. That's what happens when people are in love. And I don't know exactly when it was, but it was well into our relationship after we had moved to Arizona.
Okay. Well into your relationship after you moved to Arizona. And this isn't a question to judge. This isn't what we're talking about here, okay? But you would agree with me that as it relates to this sexual relationship, and you've been a lifelong member of your church, that that would have been inconsistent with the dictates or the teachings of your church. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And because of that inconsistency was the fact that you were having this relationship, was that something you kept between the two of you?
That was our private business. We didn't tell people about it.
Right. I understand. And again, I'm not here to judge. I'm just asking. In terms of ramifications within your church, did you or Mr. Alexander face any ramifications in your church related to this activity?
No, people are just human. People within the church are human. And we make mistakes and we do things. And then we can go to the bishop, which we did.
Okay.
And we talked to him about our relationship.
My question earlier was as it relates to sanctions within the church or punishment within the church. Did you ever lose your temple recommend?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, did Mr. Alexander lose his temple recommend?
Yes.
Okay. And this sexual relationship, you mentioned people make mistakes, and that's certainly understandable. Was this a one-time mistake, or was this a mistake that happened several times?
No.
Lack of foundation, are we talking about vaginal intercourse, oral intercourse? What are we talking about?
Do you take some sort of vow of chastity or something like that when you're in the church?
It's not a vow.
Okay.
But it's just rules that we live by. But sometimes, like I said, we're human, we mess up, and sometimes people break rules, and that's what happened in this situation.
Okay. And I understand all that. I get that. And I understand that this is a sensitive topic, Ms. Reid. I get that as well.
Objection, no question.
Sustained.
This law of chastity would forbid oral sex, correct?
Yes.
It would prohibit anal intercourse, correct?
Yes.
And it would prohibit penile vaginal intercourse, correct?
Yes, any type of sexual contact.
Okay. In terms of breaking this law of chastity, what I was asking you is if you and Mr. Alexander broke that law one time or more than one time?
More than one time.
Several times?
Several times.
Okay.
And when you told him, we're done with this, and you'd broken up, was it a situation that he kept coming back and asking you for sex?
No.
Did you guys continue to have sex after you broke up?
No.
So is it something that you obviously could control then, right?
Yes.
And was it a situation after you broke up with him that he was such a sexual monster that he kept coming over and grabbing at you and pawing at you to have sex with him? Did that happen?
No, he was always a gentleman. He never pressured me.
Sustained.
Was he a gentleman after this happened?
Yes, he was.
And if you did he even ask to have sex with you after you broke up with him?
He did not.
At any time, when you didn't want to do something, did he start trying to push you in the direction that you didn't want to, you didn't want to go?
He did not.
At all times, was he respectful to you?
He was.
I don't have any other questions.